You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are watching the leaders in full immersion gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the NBL Live pregame show. That's brought to you each and every week by our graphic sponsor, web3ks.com. We talk about them all the time here on the network. They do so much work for us. If there's anybody out there, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're just a person that needs graphic design done for an affordable price, go to web3ks.com. Our business will help you out. Again, web3ks.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, Bomber, the commish himself. We got a great game on tap. Week 8 action. It's the Giants and the Seahawks going down right here on NBL Live on YouTube and live on Twitch. If you haven't followed us on Twitch, head over there, twitch.tv/NBL Network. Bomber, it's an interesting game today. These are two teams that we have seen have success. These are two teams we have seen in the playoffs a lot, and they're struggling this year.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at both of these teams right now, a 3-3 New York Giants team, and then the Seattle Seahawks, also 3-3, hitting mediocrity. And these are two teams in NBL Season 26 when the Madden 18 debuted at release date, out of box. The Seahawks won their championship. They're the NBL Season 26 champions. They went back to the Super Bowl in a 9-7. Was it a 9-7 year?
Yeah.
Or was it? I can't.
Yeah.
Was it a 7-9?
No, 9-7.
Okay, so a 9-7 year. And they were bad that year. They were not good. The Giants, progressively worse. They were a 12-4 team, NBL Season 26, and have slowly just fell down the ladder. They didn't even win their division last year. Entering in the NFC East, Dallas Cowboys, also called the NFC Beast of the East. Dallas Cowboys won that division, and they're off to a horrible start. They're 2-5. Redskins at 5-2, but we all know deep down inside the Redskins are going to blow this. They're going to find a way to mess this up. But these are two teams in very, peculiar situations. They're struggling right now. They're not progressing forward, and I think the Giants look even worse. Wilson got paid $160 million, $160 million.
$160 million man.
$160 million man. He's not living up to the hype. Yeah, they have a lot of injuries right now. We'll get to him on the Seattle end. But the New York Giants, Davis Webb was the season MVP of NBL Season 26, the NBL Season 26 Rookie of the Year. He's a quarterback. He was going in all these right directions. And something happened. This is not the same quarterback we've seen over the years. He's not getting it done. Davis Webb is not the same quarterback he was years ago. His QBR was 124 NBL Season 26. Since then, 88, 98, and now it's at 93.7. While that is a formidable and can get it done kind of thing, he is not meeting the expectations that we all set for him after that successful NBL Season 26 season.
Well, yeah, and let's take a look at the players to watch for this game, and we're going to focus on those two quarterbacks. First, for the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, not having a bad year by any stretch of the imagination. He's completing 66% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, a QB rating of 124. By the looks of it, you'd think the Seahawks team would be dominant right now, especially playing out in that NFC West that has struggled to put together good teams. But they're not, and some of that may be due to the injuries, Bomber. You're looking at this team. Thomas Rawls out for the season. That's put some pressure on Russell Wilson. He's out with that torn rotator cuff. Tyler Lockett, I feel like Tyler Lockett's injured every year. But Wilson, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Why isn't the Seahawks team better?
Yeah, you look at it and you say, this guy's actually maybe making his bread right now. They paid him $160 million, as you stated earlier, and he's not having a bad season. His QBR is the highest it's been this Madden cycle. He's coming from a 103 in the Super Bowl season, 77 in the follow-up season, 81 in the next season, and now a 124, throwing 66% completion, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. But I'll tell you what, he's playing like a pure game manager because the wheels on the bus go ground and pound for Seattle. And without the run game, they're really not going to be able to win. And this even goes back to saying, well, what if they pass the ball a little more to kind of, let's subsidize the fact that we are not running the ball that well and try to pass the ball a little bit better. Well, they're passing the ball a little bit better. It's still not equating to wins. Why? Because the defense got older. They lost Earl Thomas, and that they haven't been able to fill that void since Bobby Wagner, 30 years old. He's on the decline. This entire defense is on the decline, but yet Russell Wilson is actually looking fairly well this season, really good, and it's just not enough. Because to win in this league, you have to have more than just one dimension. And I think they went from a team that had two of the three dimensions. They could run the ball and they could play defense. And they really weren't that great at passing the ball. Now it's completely flipped and they're trying to figure out their identity.
Yeah, they're 3-3 on the season. Their 3 losses by far aren't bad losses. They lost by 18 to the 7-1 Lions. They lost to the New York Jets, 31-17. Jets are above 500 team. And then you look, they lost by 1 last week, which is a game I know they want to have back. They lost 27-26 to the 49ers, who are having a fantastic season out in the NFC West. That looks like a real deal team, folks. If you haven't checked out If you haven't checked out the 49ers, I mean, you got to check out this team because they are doing great things. Let's look on the other side of the ball, and we talked about him, Davis Webb, the former NBL Rookie of the Year, and this dude, not the same season. Now, these Giants, unlike the Seattle Seahawks, the Giants love to air it out. He's completed 67% of his passes, very similar to Russell Wilson, quarterback rating of 93.7. But you look at that big difference right there. 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And that's been a big problem for this Giants team, is turning the ball over. And it's a big reason why they're sitting here at 500. This team struggles to move the ball on offense, struggles to score points at times because they turn the ball over in key situations. And when you've got wide receivers like Odell Beckham, like Evan Ingram, like Ben Stokes having another great year, you got to keep the ball in your receivers' hands. Giants are sitting there at 3-3. Let's take a look at their losses. They have a good loss to the New Orleans Saints, 24-11. They lost by 4 to the Cleveland Browns, a team that is not having a great year at 3-4. And then they lost, of course, to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first game of the season. So by far, this team doesn't have bad losses. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be a team that's going to compete for championships, like many people have thought the New York Giants could be, your quarterback has to play better. And at the end of the day, you have to find a way to beat the good teams in the league. And I think that's where both of these teams are struggling right now. We're not looking at teams that have losses to 1-loss, 2-loss teams. That is the case for some of these other teams in the league. These are 2 teams who have lost to good teams, but you've got to find a way to beat those teams to be the best. As everybody in the chat, again, we appreciate everybody tuning in, both on YouTube and over on Twitch. If you haven't followed both channels, go ahead and do that. Twitch.tv/MBL Network, YouTube.com/Madden Bomber League. We love seeing everybody out on Twitch. Really appreciate it as we see people in the chat. Get your predictions into the chat. We love to see what you guys see. We'll read that throughout the first quarter. Bomber, we're about ready to send this out to the game. Who do you like in this one? This one seems like a matchup of 2 very evenly matched teams. They're 3-3 with quarterbacks that can find a way to be explosive, but they're both finding a way to lose to the good teams in the league, and this is a big moment for both these teams. Are the Seahawks or the Giants going to get a win today and finally get one of those marquee wins over a team that's at 500 or better?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Both of these teams are struggling against franchises that are good. So how good do they believe that they are? Because they're going to have to beat a good franchise today. Now, here's what I usually base my selection on. I usually go with the team that needs the win. Who needs it more? Well, Washington's 5-2 right there. Now, they're looking to pull away in this division in the NFC East. But the San Francisco 49ers are 7-0. The Seahawks cannot afford to lose their 4th game on the season and go down to 3-4. So I'm going to take the Seahawks tonight. Because I think the Seahawks already lost to the Niners. That's going to create more distance and really kind of put them at really have to go on a miracle run to win this division. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks because I think it's a must win for them. And I think they beat the New York Giants tonight, 27-20. Oh my gosh. How close do I think? At 27-20. I'm going to say 27-20 Seattle. And that's an exact prediction I expected to come true about 100%. As you can tell, obviously, I was focused on that number. And that's what I came up with it. I mean, I was going to say 27-24.
That didn't feel
but
like
I'm actually thinking, it just didn't. Something felt wrong. So I looked at this, I said 27-20. And that just clicked for me. We got some predictions in the YouTube chat. Big shout out to Project Fat in the chat right now. Santa Claus doing his thing. Eric Ritter, Will Secret, also in the NBL as the Houston Texans. Santa Claus is saying 31-24 Seattle. So kind of on the same wavelength, about a touchdown away. I think Seattle comes away with this win because they absolutely have to. OSU, where you got this game going?
I think that this game is going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. My pick, I think it's going to be the New York Giants winning this one, if for no reason other than I trust that offense more. And I don't trust either of these defenses. I trust the Seahawks a little less because I think they are aging. We've been talking about that for multiple seasons here. I like the Giants in this one. I think they're going to win this one 31-28. I think it's going to be higher scoring than people think. Bleegot's in the chat saying Giants lose by 50, which is would be amazing to see. We got AMG Sad Boy saying 10-0 Giants. Jugs in the chat saying 31-24 Giants. So we got a lot of predictions coming in. Keep those coming. We'll read those throughout the first quarter. But it's time to get to the game, folks. Broadcast 171 here on the NBL Network. And we got a great game coming up right now. It's a battle of two teams sitting at 3-3, needing a marquee win under the lights to get their seasons on the right track. It's the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. And it's happening right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Craig Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network.
And you're watching the MBLN Network.
Empty backfield for Atkins. He's been dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He's looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is
touchdown.
dropping back. He's got open over the middle. It's
Wow. That big playmaker ability
at
as
him
he
go.
finds him again.
into the end zone. Another touchdown. Yeah, we got a great game on tap for you tonight, folks. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants coming at you here on NBL Live Broadcast 171. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Bomber, the commission self. It's a rainy day here in Seattle. That's the one thing we didn't talk about. This game being played in Seattle, a tough park to come into. That could affect Davis Webb and this New York Giants offense.
Yeah, absolutely. But I expect rain. It's Seattle. It rains all the time. This is actually broadcast 170, OSU.
Well,
it's getting so high. I'm confused. I'm like, is this 168, 160? I mean, we're going through them so rapidly right now, and we're really picking up the pace. But yes, this is broadcast number 170. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I'm about 90% sure, I believe. 85 to be safe.
I'm
I'm
just throwing up right here that player to watch graphic. It says 171. So if it's a question whether
wrong.
you are right or whether Kyle is right, I'm 100% going with you.
So let's get the chat. Go to one of the guys in NBL. Go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com and go to the player of the games on the NBL Live tab and just tell us the last number it was. And I guess OSU can monitor that. We got about 16 watching on YouTube.
I 100% trust your recollection than Kyle's because we've had errors in the past. As Tumblo now falling right here on the Twitch. Appreciate the follow. Handoff on first down to Marlon Petway. He's got a lot of room on the right side. Trucking catch for the friendly ghost, and somehow it works as he gets up to the 32-yard line. 37 yards on the play. A nice run by Marlon Petway, a guy who the New York Giants love, Bomber, if he can just stay healthy.
It's all about health at the halfback position in New York, but Marlon Petaway trucking air, but he doesn't care. This is a guy averaging 5.3 yards per carry, 50 attempts, 266 yards, only one touchdown, so he's due for a big breakout game today on NBL Live.
Let's see what other games we have, or what other prediction we have, as Printer Failure saying Giants 27-9, Fellow Blitz 27-17 Giants. A lot of people going New York Giants in the chat as 1st and 10. I formation for Davis Webb and the New York Giants. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right side, 1 over to left. Marlon Petway at the top of that I formation on first down. It's going to be Petway again. He puts the ball on the ground, and it's picked up by the Seahawks. The first turnover, 2 carries in. Talk about your Jekyll and Hyde, and Marlon Petway might want to hide on the sidelines after copping that one up inside enemy territory.
Yeah, I guess we were wrong. We talked about injuries being the most important thing for Petway on this Giants offense, but actually holding on to the ball, you can't fumble. That was actually one of his opportunities to earn XP was don't fumble today. Well, and on the first drive, he loses that goal.
He ain't getting that one. It is absolutely 170. So let's just pull this up one more time. Everyone can see right there. It says episode 171. So shout out to Kyle, playing in the game right now as the Seattle Seahawks for that top-notch researching that he always does.
It's almost like a political poll. It has the plus minus for margin of error.
Sure.
Well, he's about 15%, give or take. Every 1.5 out of 10, he's going to essentially have a typo.
I mean, who knows? As Russell Wilson drops back pass on 2nd and 2, and he gives it right back to the Giants, picked off by Reggie Ragland, coming over from the Pittsburgh Steelers in the offseason. A huge signing for the Giants, and that one was looked like a pick the entire way, Bomber. That was not one of those great plays by the defender. Ragland was just in great position, and Russell Wilson felt like giving a little charity to the defense.
How great has the 26-year-old Reggie Ragland, the Super Bowl winner for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's got 2 championships with them this Madden cycle. I mean, this guy, 1 championship, excuse me. Wow, that's shots fired right
Settle
there.
down.
26 years old. This guy he's on a 4-year deal worth about $30 million. 13 of it was guaranteed. He's been phenomenal so far. 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and an interception now, too. I mean, how great has he looked?
Yeah, he's looked really good. As that pass deep over the middle to Ingram, unable to come up with the catch. Gonna bring up a 2nd and 10. So after that fumble in the hole by Marlon Petway, well, they get the ball back to the 30-yard line. So really, it's like it never happened. I'm sure Petway's going over to his defense and patting them on the helmets for picking them up. 0-0 your score right now in the first quarter. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in here on Twitch, twitch.tv/NBL Network, and over on YouTube, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. If you are new, go over to the YouTube, give us a sub over there. We will have all of our NBL Live archives there and our original programming on the YouTube channel. Still there, you can still check it all out as the screen pass to Porter, not Tyler Porter. He's not catching the ball for the Giants, but that one goes for 13 yards, a first down for the New York Giants.
Absolutely love the play calling early in this game from the New York Giants. I mean, they're giving us a little bit of outside runs, a little inside runs, then a nice little slip screen, and they've also threatened to drive the ball deep down the field against this older Seahawks secondary. So I think the New York Giants game plan is solid and tight right now. We've seen them once on defense already. They're 1 for 1. 1 pass, 1 interception. They've looked pretty phenomenal. So you picked the Giants before this game. I'm kind of, second-guessing my selection early in this game.
That halfback, Walker Porter, gotta love a guy with 2 last names as his name's throw over the middle to Stokes. It's out of his hands and picked off by the Seahawks as he gets up and goes right back down. And that's big turnover. As we appreciate NBL Grid Cowboys.
All right, I'm liking my pick a little bit more.
Well,
all right, my pick
especially
is
after
a little
that
better.
pick. So far, the problems of turnovers for both teams, it's coming to fruition. That's a surprising play right there. Ben Stokes usually pretty sure-handed. Davis Webb doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but right there, he threw one, and Ben Stokes with the assist on that pick.
Yeah, the pick actually went to LSU second-year player DeMarco Gordon, 6'2", 222 pounds. He was a late second-round pick in the NBL Season 28 rookie draft. Only 1 interception on the year. He had 4 his rookie year. So now he's up to 2. Half of his production in about half of the year. That's what you're going to get from this safety. But a nice, interception in the red zone, in the end zone actually, saves points right there. And the New York Giants have to do a better job securing the ball.
Well, Russell Wilson, he's only thrown 1 interception on the year until this game. He is 1 for 2, but one of those going to the other team as Wilson tries to throw it, doesn't get it. It's batted down at the line as Pitt JJ95 now following here on Twitch. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate all of our followers. That one. Well, the offensive line didn't do a great job of holding up the defensive line. An early penetration got in the face of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, big shout out to the YouTube chat right now. Big shout out to Colster, always coming by and watching the streams. Daniel Rice, Will Secret in the chat as well. Ron Simpson, big shout out to Santa Claus. He's now in the grid. Santa's in the grid right now.
Shout out to Santa.
Good things might be coming to the NBL this Christmas.
2nd and 10 for Russell Wilson as it looked like he was about to be sacked, and it was just a straight-up whiff as that is completed way down the field. Wilson getting down to the 35-yard line. Unbelievable he wasn't sacked on that play, and because of the mistake by the missed tackle, Jimmy Graham able to take advantage and go 33 yards.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham was a forgotten man last season. Saw production from 850 yards, dropped down to 525 yards. Now, early in this season, he's at 275 with 21 receptions, but they had to get back to more Jimmy Graham for this offense to be successful. I like what I'm seeing early in this game from Seattle in the passing attack, trying to get Jimmy Graham involved.
That carry goes for 4 yards. That is Bubba Paul again. No Thomas Rawls. He's a big part of this offense. Torn rotator cuff out for the season. So Bubba Paul getting pushed into service. Having a nice year so far. Not a whole lot of action, but he does have a touchdown on the season. Is averaging over 5 yards carry at 5.4. Surely he'll be getting more carries.
Watch Jimmy out there on wide right. Watch Jimmy wide right.
Jimmy Graham wide right. Only one on the right side of that field. 3 over to the left side. 2nd and 6. Play action pass. It's a quick little, it looked like a tunnel screen there. Goes to the 31-yard line. Not a whole lot there. Well covered by the New York Giants defense.
Yeah, I'm surprised on the pass right there from Russell. He likes to run that play, get Jimmy wide right against the cornerback, run a little bubble screen, but if it's man coverage, he likes to go back to Jimmy on that slant. He stayed with the bubble screen, didn't pick up too much. But hey, man, when you got A.J. Green over there, they just draw so much attention to that side of the field. It really is going to open up the weak side guy with Jimmy Graham one-on-one with the cornerback. I think he kind of missed an opportunity there.
Interesting throwing that one to A.J. Green. He's so good down the field with his size. Not the speedster anymore. Interesting trying to run that little tunnel screen with him as 3rd and 6, bunch formation, 3 over to the left side. 1 over to the right is Russell Wilson rolling. He's got a lot of time, but the pressure's coming. Looks over the middle of the field and throws it right at the user. A bold decision there, Cotton, and it almost turned into disaster as that's an incomplete pass. And now a long field goal attempt, you would think, from the New York Giants. That one's going to be a 48-yard attempt, Bomber. That pass had no chance of getting completed.
And this guy's 10 touchdowns, 1 pick on the season. I've seen 3 passes that could have been picked already. What's going on in Seattle? Russell Wilson used to be big lights. Russell, he looks like he's really afraid, and that looks like it's going to be off. That kick looks like a shank.
It didn't even hit the net. Not even close.
Wow. Hey, fans got some memorabilia from tonight's NBL Live broadcast number 170. We got Seattle versus the Giants, both teams 3-3, and we can see right now this is mediocrity at its finest.
It is. If you are looking for the best mediocre teams, you're probably not finding them here because these are the most mediocre teams in the NBL right now. But somebody's eventually going to have to make a play unless we end in a 0-0 tie. And if that happens here on NBL Live, I'll eat my hat. 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff to Marlon Petway. That was a little odd. Because
if you're going to eat your hat, man, we're going to have to let these guys know because I honestly want to see that.
Don't stop it.
It's not your NBL hat, though, is it?
No, I can't eat this one. I only got one.
Yeah,
of these.
yeah. It doesn't have to be, another team hat.
I'm literally looking. I'm sitting in my chair. I'm just staring to my right because I have the Chipotle I got before the thing. I haven't eaten it yet. I'm just.
Hey, so spread some Chipotle on another hat, and you can devour it that way.
Hot sauce on top of that will be nice.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Davis Webb dropping back to pass in second. Nate finds Stokes underneath. Good open field tackle there, bringing him down to the 43-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play. Now a 3rd and 5. It is interesting to watch this game, Bomber. These are 2 teams that were perennial NFC Championship, at least appearances, and one of these teams has a Super Bowl, and now you're looking at these teams. It just seems like no improvements have been made over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, well, Seattle has a little bit more of an excuse. They're an aging, declining team. The Giants, man, they're supposed to be up and coming. They got Ben Stokes last year. He was a 2nd-round pick at wide receiver, got best offensive player. He's been phenomenal. Another pass, it looks like it could have been picked. Almost trying to force it to Odell Beckham, but I want to touch on Ben Stokes a little bit. Last year, 69 catches, shout out to Gronkowski, 1,044 yards and 11 touchdowns for the 6'4", 232-pound wide receiver from the University of Illinois, or as Hop would say, the Illini.
Fighting Illini of Illinois.
He was a late 2nd-round pick that everyone said, yeah, he's a little too slow. He was passed. He went to a smaller school, not a big football program. But, man, he was phenomenal as a rookie. Got over 1,000 yards, got Rookie of the Year in the NFC. I think that we need to see a little bit more Ben Stokes in this offense and maybe give him a little bit more of a balance with Odell. Forcing passes down the field like that, to me, for the New York Giants just doesn't make sense when you have this kind of talent on this offensive roster.
Yeah, 0-0 your score right now. Both offenses doing a great job of finding the defense so far. They're really, it seems like they've got a homing missile right now into defenders' hands. They're lucky there aren't a couple more turnovers as the Seahawks start this one out on the ground. And look at Paul muscle his way up to the 17-yard line. That's what they like about this kid. He's very Thomas Rawls-like in that he does not go down easily. He fights the tackles and gets the tough yards.
Yeah, you look at Bubba Paul, 6 foot, 233 pounds, has a 93 stiff arm, 87 trucking with 90 speed. Yeah, his acceleration's 82, agility 81, so he's not getting to his top speed fast, but he does have the size, maybe not the explosion, but he's got the strength and the toughness. They absolutely love that about him running up the middle.
Russell
nice
Wilson,
little slide.
Yeah, that's a nice play, not getting hit. But hey, here's the interesting thing. I've been watching sort of the play calling for the Seahawks. They're really pushing it downfield. There's not a whole lot of underneath. They're not trying to get Wilson into any sort of rhythm. They're trying to get downfield in the hurry, and it's hurting Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so what you're trying to do is get deep down the field. I mean, Tyler Lockett is injured right now. They don't have him, a speedster wide receiver that they really rely to get down the field. So they're playing with DeBarro, or however you say his name, and A.J. Green. And that's really not going to be, a real threat for the Giants to break over the top. So it's going to be covered passes into the defense, in the rain. I honestly don't like this strategy. You mix it in with a couple bubble screens, but I want to see a little bit more intermediate passing from the Seattle Seahawks and let Russell Wilson kind of make some reads.
AMG Sad Boy saying, yo, how do you slide? It's the dive button, but you can't be pushing forward on the sticks. You got to let go of the sticks.
Or left trigger, right trigger, and X at the same time.
That's also
to get down as well.
2nd and 9 now for the Seattle Seahawks. Shotgun formation for Russell Wilson. 3 wide receivers out there as he takes a weird step like he was faking to a screen pass that wasn't there and completes it underneath. It's a first down for the Seattle Seahawks as they finally just take what the defense gives them. Russell Wilson, a little uncomfortable in the pocket because he looked like he was pump faking to a screen pass that just wasn't there.
Yeah, as Paul Richardson there makes the catch, but the footwork from Russell Wilson, I don't know if it's been amazing, immaculate, or it's been very poor and pitiful, but it has allowed him to kind of slither through a sack and kind of buy him another second or two somehow. It makes no sense. His feet get crossed up, he's leaning one way, but then he finally regathers himself, and he's not sacked at the time and finds Paul Richardson underneath and makes a nice throw.
Blitz picked up beautifully, and he was looking to the outside, and that one well overthrown, looking for A.J. Green. Had a lot of people over there in the man coverage with that man blitz, but just airmailed that one. But again, Russell Wilson, I'm shocked he has 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the year because he has looked real bad today. The rain may be playing a role into his inaccuracy. As a bunch formation, 3 over to the right side, and it's a play action. They were play action on the end around, and Jason Pierre-Paul, all 6 fingers, not fooled at all in that play.
Jason Pierre-Paul has been a phenomenal presence for this defense. He's already got 4 sacks on the season, but this is a guy that doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's 31 years old. He had 7 last year, 10 the year before, 15 the year before that. So he absolutely seems like he's slowing down. But they tell me in New York that he's been playing phenomenal, and he seems as good as he's ever been. But 15 sacks season 26, 10 season 27, 7 season 28. Like he is maybe slowing down at 31 years old.
3rd and 15, empty backfield for Wilson as he's got a lot of time. Looks over the middle of the field for Jimmy Graham, and Graham gets lit up as he catches that ball and drops it, and it's going to be 4th and 15. Can't really blame Jimmy Graham on that one. Surprised they didn't go for the possession catch there in front of the safety. Graham tried to fight through the tackle, and he put the ball on the ground, and now the Seahawks going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, that was a tough throw and tough catch. For the Seattle Seahawks. Get down, Jimmy. Get down. Don't take that hit. You're too old. You've been playing too long. You don't need to take that free hit from the safety to allow that ball to get jarred loose. Hit the A button. Get down in that possession catch, but he doesn't do it there. And their drive comes to an end, and now New York Giants offense is back on the field. 0-0. I thought this would be a high-scoring game. We both predicted over 40 points from each team. Combined each team to score. You had it 31-28. I mean, this is kind of a head-scratcher for it to be 0-0 with 4:13 left in the second.
Play action pass for Davis Webb on 1st and 10, and down goes Webb at the 20-yard line. Olivier Vernon coming around the outside and bringing down Webb for a 7-yard loss, and that's what this Seattle defense needs to do, and that's what owner Kyle has been imploring this defense to do, which is get more pressure on the quarterback from the defensive line position.
Yeah, Vernon signs a 5-year, $58 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks. That's got to feel good. He played his last 3 seasons with the Giants. Injury-riddled season in NBL season 28. Season 29, he's coming on strong. That's his 6th sack on the season. It has to feel good against your former team to get that sack.
2nd and 17 now for Davis Webb and the New York Giants. 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 over to the right. Blitz coming from the right side, picked up nicely, and he's able to toss this underneath to Marlon Petway, who gets to the original line of scrimmage, weaving his way through the defense and gets 14 yards on the play. Able to cut this to a 3rd and 3. Nice job by Marlon Petway, and we're seeing continued problems by the Seattle Seahawks making the sure tackle. I think they're going for that Sports Center style hit, and they are whiffing hard.
Daniel Rice in the YouTube chat on the NBL Network said, I said low scoring and lots of turnovers. So far, I'm right. Absolutely. He's absolutely right. He was one of the only ones that said a ton of turnovers, a low scoring game. I couldn't have predicted that.
3rd and 3 now. Big third down moment here for the Giants as he's going to look over the middle of the field. He has the tight end, Ingram. Great recognition by Davis Webb. He knew that they were probably going to be in some sort of 2 deep, cover 2, something like that. They bring the blitz, show 2 high safeties, and Evan Ingram splits them down the middle. It's a first down for the Giants.
Yeah, you got the man in motion. He's going to hold the user coverage as he stays home for that drag to kind of give him a little bump, but in turn, he lets Evan Ingram go free, and he's on a seam route and splits the safeties. Nice throw right there by Davis Webb.
Hand off to Marlon Petway on 1st and 10. He's got the first down and more. He's got a lot of room, but trips over his own blocker. Get out of the way, big fella. Let Petway do his work. Gets taken down inside the red zone, but he was to the house if it wasn't for one of his old lumbering linemen down the field.
Hey, you know who Petway is reminding me of right now? I mean, obviously, this is a guy who is a 3-down back. They absolutely love him in New York, but man, he's looking a lot like Thomas Rawls usually looks on NBL Live. Very impressive so far in this game.
Play action pass for Webb. Blitz coming up the middle. They miss the tackle. It's Sterling Shepard who gets upended, but it's too little, too late. Touchdown, Giants. The missed tackles by this Seahawks defense is killing them as the Giants are finally able to put some points on the board as we near halftime. They go up 6-0 as we wait this extra point. Ball is down. The kick is up. It sneaks in that right upright. 7-0 your score. The Giants using the air attack to get down the field.
And that has to be the monkey off Sterling Shepard's back. I mean, this is a guy who has not scored a touchdown in the last 2 seasons. Well, the last season and nearly half a season thus far played in NBL season 29. He had 22 catches, 318 yards, 0 touchdowns last year. This season, 10 catches, 167 yards, and that's his first touchdown. So congratulations to him to finally get in the end zone, the former second-round pick from Oklahoma.
As that one is going to get a block in the back. We'll bring that back 10 yards, but Bomber, that's about the 3rd play we have seen the Seattle Seahawks defense get in the backfield, able to get to Davis Webb, and nobody makes the tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like there was a free guy there to make the tackle on Davis Webb, as you said, and it just really is mind-boggling. If you look at this Seattle Seahawks defense, they're predicated on getting sacks. If they don't get sacks, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Really so right now, if I'm Seattle, I'm not too concerned, but if the offense doesn't put points on the board, they might be in a little bit of trouble here in the second half.
Wilson underneath, nice tight throw underneath the coverage, able to get out of bounds at the 24-yard line, 7 yards on the play. This Seahawks offense, man, oh man, Russell Wilson has been that game manager. 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, 1 in this game on the year. But without Thomas Rawls, they have struggled to move the ball. And today it's been Russell Wilson doing a good job of throwing it to the New York Giants. It's going to be a handoff on 2nd and 3 to Paul. And Paul's not going to get anything on the play. Nice early penetration by this New York Giants defense. And now a huge 3rd down because the last thing the Seahawks want to do is give the ball back to the New York Giants.
Yeah, that's when that 82 acceleration, 81 agility comes into play there for Bubba Paul. The outside edge was so open. All he had to do was turn the corner, but he couldn't even get to the corner, and that's something that Thomas Rawls has been able to do over the last 3 to 4 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. That if Bubba Paul cannot do, it's going to put this offense really into a pass-happy mode, and that's where things could get dangerous for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, a huge 3rd and 3 now for the Seattle Seahawks. Once again, we appreciate everybody tuning in here on NBL Live, broadcast number 170. I'm OSU. I'm hanging with my man, the commissioner himself, Bomber. Again, if you're not following us on both our channels, go over and do that right now here on Twitch at twitch.tv/NBL Network and on YouTube, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. The links are at the bottom of the overlay. We have all the archives for all of our NBL Live games, including our original programming, also on the YouTube. You can check all that out after this game, because I think we got a good one brewing. It's a play-action pass. Blitz picked up. Wilson's going to take off. Real smart move there by Russell Wilson. He saw the pressure coming from the edges. Didn't have anybody open downfield. He takes off. But again, the Seattle Seahawks really pushing it downfield. Lots of deep routes, and so far Wilson hasn't been able to find a rhythm.
Yeah, they're looking to get over top of this defense. They just don't really have the personnel for it. But Russell Wilson always has his head on a swivel, and he continues to do so as the blitz starts coming in, the pocket starts collapsing, and Russell Wilson, boom, he's gone, and he picks up the first down to keep the chains moving.
1st and 10 for Wilson and the Seahawks, and on 1st down, it's another play-action pass. Looking. He's looking deep down the field. Has a man between the safeties. It's A.J. Green. A big catch at the 31-yard line. And Wilson recognized the two high safeties. Found A.J. Green coming over from the left side. A beautiful pass by Russell Wilson.
A.J. Green, 23 catches on the season, over 400 yards. He has 3 touchdowns, and that's up from production last season. He's already eclipsed the 438 yards he had last season, and he had 0 touchdowns with Cincinnati. They let him go. He's 32 years old, but he's showing a little bit of spark. Maybe he tasted a little bit of that fountain of youth as he looks fresh here in Seattle.
No deep safety right now for the New York Giants. They're pressuring up a lot of guys in the box. Wilson changing up the play as he's going to drop back to pass on 1st and 10. He's looking deep down the left side. Has a man. It's caught. A.J. Green, touchdown Seahawks, as Russell Wilson weaves his way down the field, relying on the big free agent signing, A.J. Green, to get into the end zone.
Yeah, you see 3 hot routes right there. You're wondering, what did he do? What did he do if you're a viewer? He max protects. He blocks the tight end. He blocks the halfback. Then he says A.J. Green pressed up with 10 guys in the box. Are you kidding me? A.J. Green still has it. He puts him on a go route. He beats the press. And just like that, in a snap of a finger, A.J. Green takes the Seattle Seahawks down the field. And it's 7-7. So 2, 3, and 3 teams are all knotted up at 7s. This is going to be a great finish for NBL Live broadcast number 170. I'm going to keep saying it that way, too. See what I'm doing there?
I see what you did there. There's Porter in the chat saying A.J. Green and his 84 speed. Doesn't matter what your speed is. He's a big physical guy. You press up on him. It's going to be a problem. As Chino in the chat saying, come on, Giants. Chino, big friend of the network. Appreciate you tuning in.
Hey, Chino's a big 49ers fan. Do we want to tell him how great the NBL San Francisco 49ers are looking right now? They're 7-0. Their franchise looks to be turned from going down to going up. They're trying to win this division if Seattle loses tonight. I mean, the 49ers, what's the percent that they win that division? It has to be somewhere
100.
Over 70.
No, I'm going
100. Oh, 100.
I'm going 100. I've
so
seen the performance so
it.
far. Yeah, I'm putting the house on it because let's not forget, as run there on 1st down goes for 6. Let's not forget, as I always tend to bring up, the 49ers, they finished 3rd in the division last year, so they've got that 3rd place schedule that helps them out a whole lot. The Seahawks have got to play all the division winners. And the Giants the 49ers are playing out of their minds right now. I love that team out there. Sonny, we were predicting them to make the playoffs last year. I said they were a year or 2 away, so that counts.
But you're right. So Sonny's wrong, and you're right.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes. 2nd and 4. As Davis Webb looking for Marlon Petway wide open in the flat, and he must have been distracted by somebody in the crowd because that one nowhere close. Webb's been a little erratic today, Bomber, and that's not a good sign if you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on. This is the former Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, NBL Season 26 Most Valuable Player. But Davis Webb, it seems like he doesn't have his feet underneath him, and his confidence. It has to be somewhat shook at this point.
Boom!
3 mediocre season as down goes Webb. Hales with a sack. Wow. A turn of events here. You feel that momentum swinging right now in the direction of Seattle.
Yeah, and here at home, the Seattle Seahawks wisely take a timeout. They're going to try to do something with this one as they get a sack on 3rd down. They're going to get the ball back with some time to work with, looking probably just to get a field goal before the half. But the way that Seahawks team moved down the field on the last drive, this could be huge as the punt is away by Allen. This one a skying punt into the rain inside the 20-yard line, taking it at the 16. He's up past the 20 to the 25. He's got some room on the outside, breaks a tackle. He's past the 30,
he's
to
gone,
the 35, to the 40, to the 45, cuts it back inside, spinning as he goes down at midfield. Boy, he used a lot of time on that return, but he puts him in great position at the 50-yard line and 2 timeouts remaining.
Was that a 13-second return there?
I mean, there was 4
was
seconds
15 second. Was it 27 seconds?
Yeah, it was a 15-second return with 4 seconds of hang time.
Wow. A lot of east and west running, but he did get upfield. He only needs about, I don't know where the wind direction is going right now. I haven't been paying attention to that, but I would imagine he needs probably to get to the 37-yard line to really get a long kick. But Seattle struggled kicking. They've already missed one today, so I don't know how confident they are in their kicker.
Play action pass, Wilson, lots of time in the pocket. He looks over to the right side, has a man. It's caught.
Beautiful.
A beautiful possession catch at the 28-yard line. And all of a sudden, the Seahawks are going to rely on their kicker to give them a lead at halftime. But what a job there by the offensive line, and what a job by making that catch. A.J. Green, 5 catches, 97 yards here in the first half. This kick from the right hash, the 28-yard line, puts us at a 45-yard field goal attempt. We've already seen Seattle miss one as the kick is up, and it's drifting, and it hits the upright and is no good. as StayPlation82 now following here on Twitch. Appreciate all of our followers. Boy, they should probably find a new kicker at this point because that guy's not getting on the bus at this rate.
That's 2 minutes. That's 6 points left on the board. This game could easily be 13-7. What's going on in Seattle? These conditions are normal for the Seattle Seahawks, and they're playing at home. No excuses from this kicker. He's got to get that done. Great offensive execution, though, from Seattle. Poor on the New York Giants. I mean, just afraid to send any heat there. They've been sending heat. They finally drop back. They get a play-action deep cross against them, wide open on the sideline. Possession catch from A.J. Green, and he's made, what, their last 4 big catches thus far in this game, single-handedly the favorite for the NBL Live player of the game.
Boy, opportunities missed, though, by the Seahawks. And we see that so often happen here on NBL Live, that those missed opportunities come back to bite the team. As on 1st and 10, play action pass by Russell Wilson. He looks over to the right side. He has a man. It's caught. Who else but A.J. Green as he goes over 100 yards. As AMG Sad Boys now following here on Twitch. Appreciate the follow. A.J. Green having a great game. He says Cincinnati may have let me go, but he looks right at home here in Seattle.
Yeah, and he's continuing to hit him on these deep crosses. So A.J. Green hit him with the go route. We've seen him on a couple screens, but everything else after that has been deep cross, deep cross. Now New York has to kind of combat that, send a little edge pressure, get some heat there, and get Russell Wilson on his back.
1st and 10, it's a handoff to Paul. He's got some great blocking on the outside. Little stutter step. Takes a big hit, but he gets the first down to the 37-yard line. And while this was an evenly contested first half, Bomber, the momentum has shifted to the Seahawks. They should be up by 6 right now, 3 at least. But with A.J. Green playing the way he is, it seems like the Seahawks are in control right now.
Absolutely. The momentum has completely switched, and this offense is rocking and rolling in Seattle.
1st and 10 for Russell Wilson. He throws it to the outside, has a man wide open. It's Paul out of the backfield. He's going to the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. A quick pass to Paul out of the backfield, and he breaks away as the Seahawks find the end zone for the 2nd time today. They go up 13-7. Pending this extra point. What a play by Russell Wilson, recognizing the man coverage. This one goes up, and it is good, and Seattle has a 7-point lead here at home.
Big shout out in the YouTube chat to JZackR6. Check us out on twitch.tv/NBL Network. That's where most of the majority of the people watching this game are at. He asked a question, OSU. He said, where's Eli Manning at? Why does he not have Eli Manning on the field? Why is Davis Webb playing? Well, Davis Webb lost his spot to, Eli Manning lost his spot to Davis Webb, NBL season 26. Then they got rid of Eli Manning going into NBL season 27. He bounced around. I believe he went to the Los Angeles Rams. He played there for a couple seasons. And it just never seemed to work out for old Eli Manning, as he's now, I believe he's retired. He's not in the league anymore.
I believe
so it never really worked out for Eli Manning. He never really he hasn't had a very predominant NBL career. And when he did one Madden season, he retired after the first season. That was Madden 15. It was very crazy. Former New York Giants owner was a big Eli Manning fan. There's a lot of room. Big hit right there for Cam Chancellor. He's saying, yeah, I'm 32 years young, as he makes a nice play right there, but it's going to come back for a holding.
XX Simeon 23 Grant XX saying, dude, you're a damn good broadcaster. Appreciate the love, Simeon. I appreciate all the love from all of our followers here on Twitch.
Wait, Trevor Simeon?
It's not Trevor Simeon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He was just on NBL Live. If he heard the things you said about him,
that he would not say I was a good broadcaster.
He would not say anything positive about you.
I mean, always welcome here on the NBL Network. Trevor Simeon, big fan of the NBL Network, but OSU not a big fan of Trevor Simeon after that last game. As a quick pass to Walker Porter, the double last name fella, getting 7 yards on the slip screen. He gets up to the 22-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 13. While we have a moment here, we want to give a big shout-out. You see that overlay here on NBL Live. That's a lot of credit to our graphic sponsor, web3ks.com. Anybody out there, if you have a Twitch, if you have a YouTube, if you need some graphics done, all business at web3ks.com. Does a ton of work for us as XX Simeon 23 Grant XX following us here on Twitch. Appreciate the love. But go go over to web3ks.com if you need graphics done. They're super affordable, and they are the leaders in affordable graphic design. 2nd and 13 for the New York Giants. Handoff to Marlon Petway, trying to fight through the tackle. He'll get 3 on the play, cut it down to a 3rd and 10. The running games for both these teams, Bomber, have been fairly non-existent, but when they have been there, there's been a lot of room for them to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the running game gets going, it makes it easier to pass the ball. Not much going with the running game. They do seem to be falling forward, picking up 3 to 4 yards. But when you get a holding call on 1st and 20, you dig yourself such a big hole that if you don't get those big chunks in the running game, you're kind of going to be in a 3rd and 10, exactly what Davis Webb is in right now. Let's see if he can climb his way out of this.
3rd and 10. It's shotgun formation for Davis Webb. Bunch formation, 3 over to the left side. Evan Ingram, the only one on the right. That tight end down at the line. And Marlon Petway in at halfback to the right. As on 3rd and 10, Davis Webb dropping back to pass. Looks over the middle of the field. It's Odell Beckham. He's wide open on the logo. And he's going down to the 38-yard line. The first real deep ball that has worked for this New York Giants team. And Bomber, both these teams taking advantage of those 2 high safety looks. They're running those seam routes. It is working on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, nice little throw right there to Odell Beckham as he splits the safeties. 25 catches on the season, 509 yards, and 3 touchdowns for arguably the most explosive wide receiver out of the box in the NBL. Notice how I prefaced it with out of the box.
Out of the box, absolutely.
You know why I said that, right?
Why'd you say that?
I didn't want it to have to, I didn't want Harvey to be listening and to be like, hey, what do you mean most explosive? So out of box. You weren't here out of the box, HB.
He's got those shoes.
Got those shoes. They're going to debut tomorrow on the show.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Oh, they're going to release,
I've seen a sneak peek. They look pretty good.
They look good. Hey, but the price? That big baller brand style price.
I am not wearing those shoes. I can't afford them. I'm in my New Balances.
Your K-Swiss? Are you still rocking K-Swiss? I got to know.
No. No, see, here's the thing. I have fat feet, so I could never fit into K-Swisses. Like, I had to wear, New Balances. Gotcha. New Balances make wide shoes. That's why I've got a couple pair of Jordans, and it is annoying to wear those because they're thin.
And the toes, they'll put your toes asleep.
Oh, yeah. As the Fox Cannon now following here on Twitch. Appreciate the follow. 2nd and 10 for Davis Webb and the New York Giants. They're on the 38-yard line as we're at the 2:46 mark to go here in the 3rd quarter. Webb under center, Petway in the back, and looks like we got a jump there from the offensive line. Back on 5 yards. Penalties on this drive have, they've hurt the New York Giants. They need to get a touchdown here, if nothing, to just quiet down this crowd and get a little momentum back.
A couple guys in the YouTube chat saying Reebok Classics, the owner of the Houston Texans, big baller brand, also being shouted out a couple times. We're talking shoes a little bit. I honestly wanted to talk about that flamethrower. That seems like...
yeah.
I thought flamethrower and the Blake Griffin trade were definitely going to come up as a stuffed run right here. Or is it stuffed?
Petway spinning off. No, you spoke a little too soon. Marlon Petway said, Bomber, wait for this one. Watch me shake off this tackle. And as manages to get a couple yards on the play to cut it back to a 3rd and 12. Yeah, that Blake Griffin trade. Boy, the Pistons gave up a lot for a guy who gets injured a lot.
I like Blake Griffin. I don't like his health. But, he goes to the East. He plays next to Drummond. But he played next to... the most similar player to Andre Drummond, as some would say.
They basically have the same name,
DeAndre,
Andre, come on.
Yeah, and you see that, and he goes into kind of a similar kind of system, and then maybe it's going to be an up and down kind of game for the Pistons. They like to play that up and down pace. It might fit perfectly for Blake, and in being in the East, hey, man, this might help him, and help the Pistons, and you can only hope. They didn't give up too much for him. I'm not a huge Tobias Harris fan, but I do think he's a good player.
3rd and 12 here for Davis Webb, looking, dropping back. He looks over to the right side, didn't set his feet, had Evan Ingram open. It's an incomplete pass. They're going to try for a long field goal from 56 yards away. C Black in the chat saying, good deal for both teams. Clippers are trying to rebuild. Absolutely a great deal for the Clippers. They end up getting some nice pieces and 2 draft picks. It was the 2 draft picks. Again, I live in Detroit. I've been listening to the
how the stories go. They're all going to get hurt at this point, right? So Drummond goes out, Griffin goes out. And then you're at a situation where those draft picks start looking a lot more appeasing.
That one actually
was good.
Yeah,
I thought we called it off. A couple guys in the chat saying Clippers were held at gunpoint. Awful trade for them. Jack Rozak saying that. Also bad for Pistons. They're better, but not a threat to Boston or Cleveland. But I think they can compete in the first round. If they can get themselves into a position where they don't have to play one of them in the first round, I could see them going to the 2nd round if Blake can stay healthy. But Blake's never healthy, so
but they gave up Avery Bradley. They gave it to Tobias Harris. That's a lot.
But they were trying to ship Bradley. They didn't. That was such a weird signing this offseason. Or wait, did they trade for him?
Yeah, they traded for him.
And they brought him in, and
the Pistons they're going to be perpetually stuck as long as ownership is this pass underneath is complete He's got a first down and more up to the 40-yard line, fighting through tackles to go down at the 41-yard line.
I always thought KCP was going to be. They hyped him up though.
They hyped him real hard.
And then he's in LA, and I'm like, this guy he will shoot the ball at a rate. His shot tendency in 2K has to be somewhere over 90. And it's almost just detrimental to anybody that's trying to move the ball and get some kind of movement in the offense. So, I don't know. Detroit has a lot of hype, it seems like, with players. I hope it works out. But a lot of people like Tobias Harris, man. I love
Tobias Harris. I thought Tobias Harris was great this pass underneath Jimmy Graham.
Definitely an improved player.
Here's the problem. I mean, Blake Griffin, if he can stay healthy, it's going to be a good trade. They gave up a lot for him. But my perpetual problem is the fact that instead of drafting Donovan Mitchell last year, they didn't, and they drafted Luke Kennard, who is everybody knew was going to be a Kyle Korver-like player. You don't spend a first-round pick on that guy. Donovan Mitchell, everybody said he had a star quality about him, and he is tearing it up right now. If it wasn't for Ben Simmons, he'd be winning Rookie of the Year because that dude is great, and the Pistons just don't know how to draft good players. As 2nd and 5 here for the Seattle Seahawks, it's going to be a handoff to Paul right up the middle. Not a whole lot there, maybe a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4, but yeah, it's an interesting trade, and if Pistons fans were looking for ownership to actually take a chance, they certainly did.
Well, they got Anthony Tolliver, too, so, I mean, he's phenomenal.
Have Anthony Tolliver. Who does?
Another reject.
They don't have Boban anymore.
Like
they traded Boban.
I remember when y'all paid Boban, and I said, wow, man, did they realize how stiff this guy is? Yeah, he's 7 foot 1,000, but, I mean, he has no movement, no mobility. He's got a little jump hook. Wow, and a nice little high pass right there for Seattle. As we get back to the game, Jimmy Graham with a drop. It's going to be 4th and 4, and the Giants are going to get this ball back as we head into the 4th. A little bit of a slow-paced 3rd quarter, but I think it's setting itself up to be a very nice 4th quarter game. I think maybe this is where we're going to get a lot of our scoring.
Timmy Jig old Timbo in the chat saying, to be fair, Luke Kennard is a better all-around player than Korver. Yeah, that's not setting the bar real high, but true, he plays defense, unlike Kyle.
Are we going to compare Korver's first year because he had the muscle mass of like a 10th grader when he originally came in with the Sixers? So are we comparing that? Because I don't even think Korver, if that Sixers team wasn't as bad as it was, I don't think he ever would have even seen the floor because all he could do was just shoot, and it's still what he could do, but at least he actually plays to his 6'7". He actually plays to something like that as opposed to looking like a 10th grader playing like he's 5'10". With the nice shot, release has gotten quicker. Korver's definitely improved and became a pro, but as a rookie, I don't think he was really anything.
1st and 10, running a real slow counterplay with Petway, and that gets blown up in the backfield as we head to the 4th quarter. 14-10 your score. Let's see what we got going on in the Twitch chat. I saw a question. C Black saying, how do you high and low pass? We can only speak for Xbox, but left bumper and down on the left stick is for a low pass. Left bumper and up on the left stick is for a high pass. So there you go.
We actually saw that. You saw that in the Madden Championship. Somebody made a really nice high pass over the middle of the field for a touchdown. I saw one of the highlights on Twitter, and it was a really nice throw. And you can definitely use that if it works to your advantage. Sometimes it goes wherever it wants to go, and that's when the issues come up. As a nice play, Sterling Shepard looking like he's playing today. He's out there trying to make some extra yards and get some things going on for this offense, and you like to see that. He catches the ball on a little option route, turns and sits down in the zone coverage wide open, and gets some yards. I mean, so he takes a 4-yard catch and stretches it for another 4. Now they're in a 3rd and 2, an opportunity here to maybe run the ball if they want to Petway.
Well, 3rd and 2, bunch formation, 3 over to the right side. Odell Beckham alone on the left side, and Marlon Petway in the backfield for Davis Webb and the New York Giants, needing to get a touchdown. They're down 4 right now as we're just into the 4th quarter. Webb dropping back to pass, looking. He looks to the right side, and Sterling Shepard's wide open. Boy, it looked like he stepped out of bounds there after the catch, but they lost sight of him with that cover 2. He ran a little corner route to the outside. He was standing all alone, nobody within a couple yards of him, and Shepard makes a big catch on 3rd down.
Yeah, a lot of people wondering what happened. Was that blown coverage in the zone? No, I believe the Seattle Seahawks went hard flat on that. They had a man running to the flat and a corner route coming behind him, which created that flood kind of concept, and it kind of allowed Davis Webb to kind of thread the needle in there for that corner route and make sure he stayed in bounds. He also missed the seam route. Wide open. Didn't want to take that risk because already had a couple errant throws down the middle of the field, deep down the middle, and instead he's playing a little safer here as he made the right read.
Handoff to Marlon Petway over the right side, and boy, and that's where young running back get caught up. That was a perfect play call for that sort of setup by the Seahawks. They had all their guys on the left side, power one, run to the right. Petway just sort of tried to get outside too quickly. If he cuts that back inside, he's got a good run on that play. Instead, he loses 2 on the play, bringing up a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, anticipating your blockers that will actually block for you down the field sometimes backfires on you as they don't get the block, and then you're left sitting there running east and west, and you get tackled for a loss when you had an opportunity to pick up some yards.
Ingram in motion from the right side over to the left, bringing a bunch formation, 3 to the left side. It's a toss
big
play to Walker Porter as he's following his blocker. He's able to get to the 49-yard line. That one could have been much bigger, though. A quick pitch to the outside. Gets caught up on his blocker, but is able to cut it down to a 3rd and 6. A huge moment here on Broadcast 170 of NBL Live.
Yeah, the New York Giants halfback core waiting on those blockers, and it just hasn't really paid out for them. You like to see those blockers engage, and then you hit, you either go outside or cut it back inside. Instead, he waits and waits, and the blocker doesn't get a good enough block on him to really stop him, to really hold him and allow the running back to get past to that next area.
Yeah, now big 3rd and 6 for the Giants as they're just shy of midfield. Davis Webb under center. He's got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. He drops back past the 3rd and 6. Blitz coming. Ball's out. Picked up by the Seahawks. A disaster strikes the offense of the New York Giants as Davis Webb with that blitz up the middle took the hit and put the pigskin on the ground. And Seahawks have an opportunity to put this bad boy away with a good long drive.
Yeah, you look at that right there, and that is the reason the New York Giants offense needs to put points on the board, because when turnovers happen like that in this part of the game, you don't leave yourself enough slack, enough room to say, okay, now our defense can step up. Now you're down 4, you got to hold them to a field goal.
1st and 10 for Seattle as the handoff up the middle for Paul. It gets 4 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 7. As the clock is running 3:45 to go. If you're joining us for the first time, folks, NBL rules do state you cannot kill the clock until under the 2-minute warning, so you won't see chew clock on. So there's still plenty of time, but the Giants defense needs to hold them to 3, if not back them up a little bit, because their offense, they're going to need to get a touchdown, and a touchdown here on this drive would be huge for the Seahawks as Russell Wilson taking off on the pass play to the 32-yard line. I think he got enough for the first, and he did indeed. Shout out to when Madden agrees to you. As we see Fellow Blitz in the chat saying Giants need that. Yeah, that was a huge play. Seeing that fumble there by the usually sure-handed Davis Webb. He's had a couple turnovers today. It's on 1st and 10. It's a handoff to Bubba Paul over the right side. He's fighting through tackles. Flag on the play. And I think that one's going to be a face mask. It is indeed on Janoris Jenkins. Well, the Giants, I guess, are trying to get them to the end zone quicker. That's a bold move by this defense. That's a big penalty, giving them 15 yards, giving them another first down, 3:01 to go, folks. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you tuning into NBL Live, Broadcast 170. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, the Commish Bomber. We'll throw up that NBL Live schedule at the end of this broadcast so you can see what's coming off as a little jet sweep to Darbo, and he's going into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks! As a beautiful play there, a play we see all the time here in the NBL. They ran that little wide receiver quick, that jet sweep, and Seattle finds the end zone, and that one might have put this one out of reach, folks, as the kick is up, and it is good. 21-0 your score right now. Seattle on top, and now the New York Giants going to have to do a little Houdini act to get back in this game.
Yeah, tough right there for the defense. To give up a touchdown, put their offense down 11 points with 3 minutes left. Houdini, I don't know if he could get out of this trap right here. The New York Giants offense has been stagnant at best. And not to mention, we don't want to forget, the Seattle Seahawks have missed 2 field goals. It easily could be 27-10 right now, but instead only 21-10. There's an opportunity here, but we need a quick score from this Giants team. We know they have the weapons to do it. They have Ben Stokes, Sterling Shepard, and Odell Beckham along with Evan Ingram. Let's see them spread them out wide and see if they can get something deep down the field.
1st and 10 for the New York Giants. Play action pass for Davis Webb. He looks over the middle of the field, finds Evan Ingram, who's shaking off tacklers left and right, able to get to the 45-yard line. Webb 10 of 15, 161, a touchdown and a pick. As that one, it gets them down the field. They're going to need to move a little faster than this, though. 2:38 and counting, and Davis Webb changing up the play. as 1st and 10. He's going to split Stokes wide out to the right, 2 tight to the formation on the right side, 1 wide to the left side. Davis Webb, he's looking to the right for Ben Stokes, who catches it 12 yards on the play. The offense is moving, lots of quick passes.
Yeah, what great hands from Ben Stokes. That was so impressive of a catch right there for him, but that pretty much solidifies his entire career, early career thus far with New York, is he's been able to make those kind of catches in this type of game, in this type of environment on the road, and that's why they trusted him so much and played him at number 2 last season as a rookie.
1st and 10, quick screen to the outside. Seattle was prepared for that one. He was trying to get Sterling Shepard going, but the man coverage out there was able to snuff that one out. Shepard's having a nice game, though. The Giants, though, needing to score quickly, as I think the 2-minute warning is going to happen before they get this play off. And that's a big hurt to this Giants team. They need to score quickly. They do have all 3 timeouts, Bomber, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not. It's just very doubtful at this point with the only 2 minutes left to come up with 11 points. You're going to have to score and go for 2, and then probably try to kick an onside. You have all 3 of your timeouts if you're the New York Giants, so maybe you don't have to really worry about if you don't recover the onside, it's over. You want to make sure you score here without having to burn any of your timeouts and allow yourself to have those 3 to get the offense off the field if you do get points on the board.
A quick pass underneath to Evan Ingram. Ingram's been a nice weapon for this Giants team. Davis Webb has found some chemistry right there with his tight end. As now a 3rd and 8. They need to convert, but they need to get moving. Minute 46 and counting. 3rd and 8 for the Giants. Play action pass. Rush Cummins, a quick throw over the middle to Evan Ingram, who comes up with the catch at the 30-yard line. Great recognition by Webb that the blitz was coming and he needed to get rid of it quickly.
Yeah, nice throw right there by Davis Webb. He notices the cover 0. Here comes the heat. He gets rid of it, finds Evan Ingram, and the receivers have been great. Their hands have been phenomenal. The passes have been on point on this drive. I just think maybe they're eating a little bit too much time right now with the minute 30 left.
Webb dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. Blitz picked up, but boy, too much time. And he goes down. Olivier Vernon, another wreck in the backfield. Started by Olivier Vernon, the 4th sack on the day for this defense.
Yeah, so you wonder right now, should the New York Giants just kick the field goal? If they kick the field goal, it's a 1-possession game. Then you go onside. Maybe you recover it, maybe you don't. But you got to get a 3-and-out anyways to try to get the ball back. So those are the questions probably going through the coaching staff's mind right now.
Minute 11, he's taking a deep shot down the right side, looking for Ben Stokes, and it's picked off by the Seahawks, and that's going to seal it up. The mediocrity war, the battle of the 2 average teams. It's going to go the way of the home team, the Seahawks defense, coming up big in the second half.
And that's going to do it for the game. I mean, they have 3 timeouts. They're probably going to burn them, so they will extend the game a little bit if you're the New York Giants. They decided to take a shot there with Ben Stokes. I didn't really like it. I like taking the field goal in that sense. You know, that defense is going to be so difficult playing with not a lot of space behind them, so their safeties can play a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, not have to worry about giving up so much. But if you're Seattle right now, just make sure you protect the ball. Bubba Paul, do not fumble it. And you got this game, and you're going to improve to 4-3 on the season. And the Giants are going to go below 500 for the first time in NBL season 29.
Yeah, and the New York Giants are going to drop to 3-4 on the season. And this is a team that I think a lot of people thought were going to win that division, or at least compete for that division, Bomber. And it's looking early in the season in an NFC East that is certainly down from past seasons. That the Giants, I mean, they may be the second best team, but I don't think the way they've played today, this looks like a division champion team.
No, unless the Redskins completely falter here, or the Cowboys come up out of nowhere and start playing some ball, it looks like the Redskins might walk away with this division fairly easily, and Porter would get his first division crown in this Madden cycle, as the Giants have 2 and the Cowboys have 1. I'm starting to question right now what the Giants look to do moving forward, especially drafting-wise. What is the identity of this team? They lost some players. They lost Olivier Vernon. They couldn't afford him. Their wide receiver core seems good. Their line seems good. The quarterback, I mean, that's the guy they're putting money into and they want to keep on their team, and that's their future and the franchise of this team is they're going to get them on a 3-and-out here, going to call the timeout. See, imagine if they had an opportunity here, they would have kicked that field goal. We might be looking at an extended game here with an opportunity for the Giants to go down and score and actually tie this game up.
Believe in Monsters 2 now following here on Twitch. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of our followers and all of our subscribers over on YouTube channel. YouTube.com/Madden Bomber League. Twitch.tv/MBL Network. Both streaming right now live, and we'll have all of our NBL Live games on both channels. We'll throw up that NBL Live schedule right after this game. We'll have our NBL Live Player of the Game selection, by the way, for Broadcast 170 coming up in a moment. This Seahawks team, this Seahawks defense, Bomber, we talked about how they're aging. We talked about how they're getting older. They certainly didn't play like that today. They played like they had a lot of fire underneath them, and they made some huge plays that kept the Seahawks in this game when it looked like they were going to go down early.
Yeah, I mean, that veteran poise. I mean, essentially their season's on the line right now, and they know it. You expect them to come out and play this well. As they're looking down the field, nowhere to go, they go underneath to Ben Stokes. He picks up about 9, going to put them at a 2nd and short with no timeouts left. Yeah, you know, you look at this team, they're veteran. They have a veteran leadership. Yeah, they have Bobby Wagner. They still have Cam Chancellor back there bringing some pain. But this is a team that longevity-wise, there's not much ceiling left. They've already hit their ceiling. They're probably on the decline. But any given Sunday, they can come out and give you a little flashback performance like they did today.
Hector Rolf 13 now following here on Twitch. Appreciate the follow, Hector. As that nice pass down the middle of the field for Odell Beckham. Play action pass. Boy, I never understand this. He's looking deep down the left side in double coverage, hoping Odell can make a play, and he doesn't. I never understand that, Bum. We see it more than I'd like to admit. Teams running play actions in this situation. Does anybody actually think that the Giants with no timeouts and 15 seconds left are going to hand the ball off?
Yeah, I think it's more of a, get into the flow. Buy yourself a little extra second to get down the field. Yeah, nobody's really buying the play action, but maybe it's a footwork thing, a confidence thing, a play that he likes out of the play action. He's trying to get down the field. Why doesn't he just pull it? As that can't be the play he likes right there. As an interception from Cam Chancellor as he shrugs a man off and gets down to the 28. Another interception there for the Seattle Seahawks defense. That's going to end NBL Live broadcast number 170. Big win there as the Giants fall to 3-4. The Seahawks improve to 4-3. They're still chasing those 7-0 San Francisco 49ers, and the Washington Redskins getting a little separation, a little space, just enough rope, and hopefully they come away with that division. You know, you'd never like to see a team that has this much of an advantage, and essentially they come out and go, well, you know, we're going to fall apart at the end, and then the Giants slip back in, and kind of the worst team slides in, because we've seen that happen before in the NBL as well.
Your final score, once again, the Seattle Seahawks coming out on top of the New York Giants 21-10. It's time for our selection for our NBL Live Player of the Game for broadcast number 170. Bomber, I could, like, make up something where I was going to give you a lot of choices, let you pick it, but there's only one name that comes to mind. In honor of the Royal Rumble on Sunday with Shinsuke Nakamura now going to face AJ Styles, I think AJ Green was the player of the game. He was huge for the Seahawks, especially at the end of the first half.
I was trying to think of who had the last name Mysterio, because that's where I was going.
Helms. I was looking for Hurricane Helms.
I was like, Hurricane Helms, Mysterio? Where? I don't see it anywhere. But yes, absolutely, AJ Green. There was a stretch where he caught 5 catches in a row over 2 drives. Over a span of 2 drives, he put them in field goal range, which they obviously missed. They need to reevaluate the kicker position. But then he drove down and actually scored, which ended up being a huge touchdown that put them ahead, or tied the game up for them, at 7 apiece. And I think that really changed the momentum and gave this Seattle Seahawks offense something to build upon. And they continued to do so, and it was pretty much a dominating performance for Seattle. I said it would be 27-20. It ended up being 21-10. I still feel like Seattle's back was just a little bit up more against the wall than the New York Giants, because I think the Giants think, well, you know, the Redskins, they're not for real. We don't really believe they're going to go down the stretch and win and actually take this division from us. You know, we can play bad at the beginning and we'll just turn the switch on at the end. Hopefully that doesn't work out for them if you're a Redskins fan, but I don't see the Giants really sweating anything right now, being 3-4.
Yeah, so once again, your player of the game here from Broadcast 170's AJ Green. You can check out all of our player of the game archives on our website. That's at 365.maddenbomberleague.com. It's under the NBL Live tab. You can also apply for the Madden Bomber League, apply to work through the grid and get up to the NBL. We'd love to see you guys in the grid, the future stars of the NBL, down in the developmental league of the NBL. And before we get out of here, let's throw up that NBL Live schedule once again. There it is. We got it. It's right there. And coming up next week, a game that looked a whole lot better before the implosion of the hashtag not top 5 Cleveland Browns. Browns-Steelers next week here on NBL Live. This was 2 teams that fought for the AFC North title until the end of last season. The Steelers ending up with 1 loss by the end of the season. The Browns ended up with 2, I believe, or it might have been 3. But the Browns and Steelers went head-to-head. Browns actually won a game against the Steelers earlier last season. This looked like it was going to be a close game. The Browns have struggled, though, this year. Another one of those top teams, Bomber, that is struggling. But you know when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to come to play because they want to get a big victory.
Yeah, you always say division games bring out the best in both teams. Well, a struggling team can kind of regain his balance playing against a friendly foe like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe the Cleveland Browns say, you know what? It's time to get our feet back on the ground, get a big win against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 5-2. The Browns are, 3-4 right now? A struggling team to say the least, but they could come out big and they could get this victory. It's going to be an interesting matchup. We have about 3 division rivals in a row, and then you see the Lions, Vikings, then Raiders, Broncos. I mean, those are some great divisional matchups where you're going to see two teams that play each other a lot, and they're going to be constantly battling back and forth and creating this chess matchup. We like to say we play like the play style in the NBL.
Yeah, it should be a great game, folks. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button so you know when we go live. You can follow us over on Twitter at Bomber League on Twitter. We announce all the game times when they are scheduled. That'll be scheduled probably sometime late tonight or tomorrow morning, but it'll be in the next couple of days. But that's going to do it for us, folks, here on NBL Live. A great game here in Broadcast 170. Appreciate everybody who tuned in, both on Twitch and on YouTube. For my co-host, Bomber, I'm your host, OSU. Once again, your final score, the Seattle Seahawks, a big 21-10 victory over the New York Giants. We'll see you next week. Browns and Steelers right here on NBL Live.